Many of the title problems that we see when clients contact us could have been prevented at the time of purchase. Most of them aren't scenarios where somebody bought a car and then lost the paperwork later or damaged it later. Usually, the title defect was created at the time of purchase. In most states, it's actually illegal to buy or sell a car without a title at the time of transfer, but it happens all the time, and it's not like the SWAT team's going to come in and swoop up people who buy or sell cars without titles unless there's fraud. But here's some good guidelines from the Delaware State Police about buying or selling a car. And the reason they put this article out earlier this year in 2020 is because they talk about the rise in online auto sales from Craigslist and Facebook. You know, with things being locked down and fewer people being out and about buying vehicles, a lot of times the transactions originate on social media, and sometimes they go to offline transactions or meetings after that. They say that their auto theft unit is receiving a rising number of concerns from individuals who have purchased vehicles and experience problems with documents such as titles. So it's not an uncommon thing. You know, we probably talk to 100 to 150 people a day, and most of them have this same scenario. They purchased a vehicle, didn't get a title when they bought it, or got other paperwork that's not valid. And so the auto theft unit is giving you some guidelines in dealing with sellers. First thing is, and this is very, very important, no matter if you get paperwork or not, make sure you know who you're dealing with. Make sure they have a title in their name. So even if you get a title when you buy a vehicle, if that title is not in the name of the person that you're getting it from, there could be some difficulties transferring it over. If it's not signed correctly, if it's jump title to another person, it recommends asking to examine the title before you give the money. Sometimes a seller will tell you, I have the title, and they won't show it to you or give it to you until you give them the money, which is fine. But then if you haven't seen it in advance, you won't know if there's any defects on that title, meaning that was it signed over to somebody else and they signed it over to you? Are there any corrections? Is it crossed out? Is there white out? Are there any title brands? Is it salvage? Is there a lien on it? Is it a duplicate title? Because sometimes duplicates aren't valid if another title has been issued since then. So it tells you to check the front and back of the title, make sure the VIN number matches. We rarely see that the VIN number doesn't match, but occasionally that does come up. Here's what it says right here. Make sure the title has not been signed over to other persons, right? It says very clearly, if there's another person listed on the back, meaning that it was signed over to somebody, the title will not be able to be transferred to a new owner without documentation, if at all, meaning that you might not be able to get a title, period, for that car. So if somebody says they have to do with a dealership, that's a red flag. If it's not done at that dealership premises and the person says they are a dealer, you should go right to the licensed dealer, because if they're not doing it through their dealer's license, there's a reason for it, and it's usually not good. You can check the history of your vehicle, NICB. We've talked about that in other videos. They also talk about Carfax, but it says they charge a fee, and it says it's a more detailed report. It's not really true. NICB is a very detailed report. It's almost the same as Carfax. The extra things that Carfax has on it that make it more detailed are not necessarily things that have to do with the title. They may be things like how long the warranty is, what the weight and balance and length and width of the vehicle is. That may not be as important for a purchaser as what's on the NICB. If you decide to make a purchase, make sure you get a bill of sale and title. That's crucial. Title is most important. A lot of times if you have a title, the bill of sale may or may not be needed, but some states require a bill of sale in addition to the title. It should have on it the date, the price, seller's name, address, your name and address, and the VIN number. We've seen people with bill of sale that doesn't have some of these elements. Now, keep in mind, a bill of sale doesn't have to be notarized. In some cases, a seller will use the representation that the bill of sale is notarized to try to cover up for other problems. If it's missing the VIN number, or if somebody says to you, I'll give you a notarized bill of sale instead of a title, sometimes a buyer might think that that notarized status will solve other problems, or it means something official. A notarized document just means that somebody witnessed the signature of the seller and verified who they are. It doesn't mean anything guaranteeing the title or guaranteeing the underlying transaction, so keep that in mind. You notice in here it doesn't say anything about notarization, so don't let that fool you or distract you from getting other information. Talks about salvage titles and regulations and retitling. We've talked about that before. Salvage titles have to have very detailed inspections before they go on the road. So those inspections sometimes are not just making sure the car looks good. It also requires documentation of the repair. So look at our other videos for that. Special note on trailers, VIN number clearly visible. This is something that comes up a lot. In fact, one of our most viewed videos on our channel is where to find the VIN number on a trailer. It has nothing to do with titles or any of the other subjects that people call us about. It's because trailers are notoriously difficult to find the VIN number, right? So make sure that you have a good VIN number on your trailer. And this is good general information. There's other things that come up. If you have any questions about legality of things, you may want to contact an attorney if you have any serious questions. There's also a important factor in terms of sending money. If somebody's asking you to send money for a vehicle without seeing the vehicle or without seeing the person, it could be a red flag. If you're asked to wire transfer money or send money through Venmo or some other PayPal type online transfer without actually getting the title in your hands, that puts you at risk. Until you have a new title with your name on it from the DMV, you're at risk of your money not being good. So this is a good overview. Be sure to click the subscribe button on the video, because you'll get notice when we put new information about vehicle titles and new methods that come out every few months of how to get a title when the paperwork might be slightly insufficient or underrepresented.